Joe Maddon has been our guest all through the season. Now we get into the offseason. You can see by the clothes, too. Joe, I like how your Hawaiian shirts to start. Now you're in your elk hunting sweater. I like how we've transitioned.
I'm going holidays, brother.
I like that. That's the Joe Maddon Christmas special right there. I want you to wear that.
Very good. Right on, man. Right on.
All right.
There you have it.
At the very top of the show, I made the case. I don't normally do this. I trade your big guy. It's Mike Trout, obviously. You managed him, an all-time great. But your thoughts on organizationally, the Angels, should they consider trading Mike Trout?
I think this is my opinion. If Shohei, in order to get Shohei to stay, Mike has to be there. So they're going to wait and find out what happens with Shohei first. If they're able to re-sign Shohei, which I don't think is going to happen, but they don't have any chance whatsoever unless Trout's still a part of the fold, I believe. Right. So after Shohei decides what to do, if he decides to go elsewhere at that point, yes, I would trade Trouty. And of course, on the other side, if he decides to stay, you keep him.
Yeah, well, look, if they manage to re-sign Shohei Ohtani, they're back in the superstar business, right? It's like,
correct.
no, we're keeping everybody together, and we'll try to build from there. Give me your thoughts on, maybe I'm just higher on these guys, but I saw enough of Neto and his awareness, Nolan Shanuel and his plate discipline, right? Logan O'Hoppe behind the plate, good pop. Tell me about, young Angels. To me, that's a nice core.
It is. I didn't get to work with any of those guys. Actually, I saw Hoppy. I liked him a lot on TV. The first baseman, Shanuel.
Nolan Shanuel, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of a Mark Grace kind of a guy. Was okay, I thought. I really liked the shortstop a lot. I thought he was really good. I thought he has great court awareness. So, however, it's going to take several years for these guys to really mature into that point where they're legitimate playoff contenders or win the division. So anyway, it's still going to take a while. And if that's the case, augment your situation. Again, if Shohei's, you're only going to get Shohei if he knows Trouty's going to be there. If you know Trouty's not going to be there, you don't get Shohei. So I would wait for this to unfold. And at that point, Shohei gone, I would definitely trade Michael.
Yeah, look, patience is a virtue, right? You have to, nobody seems to be able to accept, hey, we're not going to be in the playoffs next year, maybe not the year after, but then we build something strong. That's kind of the way you have to do it, right?
I think so. Under these circumstances, I was there for a couple of years. I was there for a lot of years. And from what I saw and under this, you just don't turn a battleship on a dime. There's a lot of stuff that still has to occur there. So again, it's about Shohei. The whole world's linked, baseball is linked to Shohei right now. He stays, Trout stays, he goes. You got to trade him and you got to build up that system. Interesting.
Okay. The Angels going with Ron Washington. You went head to head with Wash a couple of times in the playoffs. What do you think of that hire?
I do not love Wash. Wash is wonderful. I like the hire a lot. I know how badly he'd like to do that. I know, again, I talked about how close Showalter and Perry had been. Perry often talked about Wash glowingly, too. So it's an easy understanding of why that occurred. Wash will bring an absolute energy to the group. And beyond all that, from what I'm reading, the thing that I'm really digging on is the autonomy with the coaching staff. That would be really fun to watch, where you hire this kind of superstar group of veteran coaches and then a superstar group of analysts who then come together and form this great union. I'm really eager. If that's what happens, I'm really eager to watch this. And I have nothing but respect for Wash and hope this works out really well for him.
It's funny how often that undercurrent comes in, Joe, because I spoke to Joe Espada just 10 minutes ago. And every manager is so, they just have to get it out in front. Look, I know it's analytics, but people are the main thing and culture is the main thing. And it's that's... shouldn't that go without saying and say, I had to ask 3 times, what about your data-driven decisions? Right. And what about the things that you learned in Houston, which are voluminous, right? It seems like everyone's on the defensive about letting the baseball ops people get into the decision-making.
It's true. It is true. That's exactly right. That's what's going on. And I think you have to prove it otherwise that the autonomous manager gets. Again, I think it would start with hiring your own coaching staff. I'd love to see Joe hire his own coaching staff. For years now, front offices have hired coaching staffs, as well as their front office group, their analysts, et cetera. I would like to see a separation where managers get to hire people that they think are good, people they want in place, people that they could identify with and converse with after a tough loss on a nightly basis. That is really, really important to get that kind of an opinion. So again, it's a balance thing. Let the manager be autonomous in the dugout, in the clubhouse, and with the staff. And then, of course, I want this superstar group of youngsters coming in that give me all the best information. But the point that we have to constantly defend our decision-making, that is getting old a bit.
Okay, fair enough. Craig Counsell introduced today. He got paid $8 million a year. Manager salaries dropped a bit, Joe, and it was strange because it didn't keep pace with either player salaries or executive salaries. What do you make of that? Is that now on the comeback?
I don't think so. I'd have to be proven over time. I think Craig was the unicorn in that situation. He was a free agent, an absolute free agent, something like I went through a couple years ago. These managers have to be free agents, and you have to have obviously that bidding war. I was looking at all the names today, going up and down the standings, looking at each manager on each team. I don't see all of a sudden groups getting generous in order to keep their guys. I don't, unless the method changes again, where the more autonomous, more decision-making kind of manager is employed, as opposed to one that is going to accept and defend what's given to him from the top. So it'll be interesting, but I love the fact that Craig got that number. I think it's wonderful, but I don't think necessarily it's going to improve the amount of money managers are going to receive.
Yeah, Joe, it's almost like it's a market correction due. Like, even think of like Brent Strom, right, with the Diamondbacks, like what he did with the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That seems to be worth an awful lot, don't you think?
Well, Ned, just talk about that. I'd like to see coaches get paid a whole lot more too. I mean, it's about, we're talking about managers right now. Of course, that was a big part of that. But prior to that, I was a coach, man. And I'll tell you what, you get into the playoffs, it's such a boon to you and your family. And that shouldn't be the case. I think coaches should make the minimum salary, whatever a player minimum is. You made the argument previously about the kind of a player that makes $8 million a year and who that looks like, right, and why wouldn't a manager get that number? So I'm going to make the argument that a first-year guy that just comes up and all of a sudden he's making, I don't know, $600,000-700,000, whatever it is. And here's coaches. I'm telling you, man, you're living in one city, you're working in another, you got all kinds of expenses. Basically, coaches have been pretty much playing to break even for years, quite frankly. I'd like to see that considered also.
Yeah, no question. Like, you can put together an all-star group for like the price of your second baseman, right? That seems to be a good investment. Right. Look at that, Joe. We've got it all figured out here. Anyway,
brother, always talking. It's so easy, man. It's so easy.
Excellent, Joe. Have a great weekend. Thank you so much. Well, I guess have a great week.
You will be
early. You take care, Joe.
It's Monday. I'll have a good weekend too. See you, man.
See you.